Yo, what up, what up? SC here. Got you a Zelot replay. We're going to be checking out today Zelot here in the top right versus Taenggu. At least that's how I'm going to be pronouncing his name. This guy is interesting. He's very, very high on the ladder, just like Zelot. Hasn't really played in any tournaments that I can find, but consistently S tier, very top tier Terran player, excuse me, Zerg in the top right. Similarly, we've seen this guy a lot. Zelot, he is a crazy Zerg player, and I don't mean the strategy. He's just a wild man. He brings out some of the nuttiest strategies we've seen on this channel, and he's pretty good at cheeses. We'll just say that. Often brings to the table some pretty wild stuff that if you don't hold it absolutely perfect, especially as a Terran, you're gonna end up losing pretty darn quickly. Not the strongest macro player, not the strongest tournament player, of course, but in this realm, there are very few that can match him. The realm of ranked ladder play, it's a different beast. It's a different monster. And Zelot is an absolute monster in this. His home turf. We'll see how Taenggu can stand up against him. We've seen all kinds of weird stuff from Zelot recently. Actually, not that recently. We haven't seen him for a little while. Been staying away from his reps, finding a lot of other pro players to watch, but this rep I think is going to be pretty cool. I did 8 times speed it earlier, and some pretty interesting stuff happens. I won't spoil anything, but it's going to be a not so standard game here. Now, Taenggu, he started off with that Mickey Mouse wall in here, barracks with 2 supply depots over top. This makes him very, very safe, and as you can see, he's not building any Marines here. Sticking on just 3 Marines means he can power up very, very quickly. With other builds where you don't have this wall in, you really have to continuously produce Marines and kind of keep them around the ramp here, and then, you know, put a supply depot or a bunker here and be worried about any sort of ling pressure. But as it stands, Taenggu, he's just going to prioritize his SCV production and getting his tech buildings going. So you can see an academy and a factory coming up very, very fast here. On the other side of the map, we've got Zelot with his ever standard sunken colony in the front. He just loves the sunken colony. I don't know what it is, but he always builds a sunken colony here in the front. Maybe he died a few too many times to Vulture or something, I'm not sure, but he's gone ahead and put down an evolution chamber at the very same time as his spire goes down here. So that's interesting. I think when you see an evolution chamber this early, it's almost always going to be a crazy Zerg build. It's going to be that rush into Ultralisks. And look at that, Queen's Nest on the way already. We haven't even seen a single muta. Now, a lot of Ultralisk builds that you'll see from Zerg will go about 8 mutas, then you throw it on the Evolution Chamber and the Queen's Nest, and then you transition into that hive and get Ultras out. But this is about as fast as it could ever be. We just saw a scan. I'm assuming that was the main, and he should know kind of what he's up against here. What's the reaction going to be for Taenggu? Just another barracks so far. Not doing much with this factory just yet. Going to go ahead and start that starport. Throwing up a few turrets here, but the lings or the mutas are very, very late. Only 1 is crossing the map here. You can see that priority goes to the upgrades right now. Upgrades, and of course this hive. The tech transition is coming. We've got 2 Scourge in this group. Funnily enough, it looks like he was planning for some sort of snipe here in the main base. I don't know what he was expecting to see. Maybe a Valkyrie or something like that, but still seems like an interesting play. Zelot just kind of metagaming here, trying to send out just a couple of Scourge, pick something off in the very, very early stages, but he's revealed his Scourge here. Now, you can potentially hide the Scourge underneath your Mutalisk stack, and your opponent have no idea about that. And you can do something like run in and snipe and a Science Vessel, but he's not going to be able to do that now. This Terran player, he knows, look at the stack. You can't really see those Scourge, but he saw it earlier. He knows now that there's Scourge in that pack. It will be a lot safer with his units. Now we finally got a Valkyrie on the way here. Plenty of turrets to ward off the very few mutas that are out here on the map. How many do we have? 7 mutas in total. Not a very scary amount. That's going to take 3 hits to kill a turret, and we've already got plenty of turrets here with that Valkyrie on the way. It's not very scary at all. The armory is done, of course. As the Valkyrie is on the way, it has to be finished. We've got 3rd base down here with the 3rd gas just now finishing up. That first Carapace upgrade about to finish here in the 2nd. Will it start immediately? Not quite yet. Looks like we're diving in now with the mutas, trying to slow down this Marine Medic Force, which is starting to move out here. I'm a little bit worried. He hasn't started the 2nd Carapace just yet, and he has the money for it. That's definitely an error. You want to keep, if you're doing this type of style, you want to keep your evolution chamber on a hotkey so that you can keep checking it, and the moment that upgrade is done, you instantly start +2. Because you want to be getting to that +3 ASAP. Looks like we've got a +1 upgrade on the way for ground, for mech actually, and 2 more factories on the way. So actually Taenggu seems to want to switch into a mech play from here off of 2 racks. Now that's a very interesting decision. He will be able to get out here and pressure this build, or this base down here in the bottom right. At the same time, switching into a mech play. Now, it's possible Zelot loses this base here. He's got 1 Ultra out already. 8 minutes 30. He's already got an Ultra out. That is crazy. Oh, it's got 2 more popping. Nidus network on the way? No, not quite yet. 1 Ultra not going to be enough to deal with all of these Marines, so that's a little bit of a problem. These are 0/0 Marines, but only +1 armor. That means that Ultra will die very, very quickly, and it seems like Zelot just forgot about this Marine Force. He was diving here in the main, trying to kill turrets, and he just didn't pull back for this. This is a big mistake here. He loses the hatchery. Looks like Ultras are going to come down with the mutas. Should be able to clean this up, and the Nidus is done. I guess that's something. This hatchery is halfway done as well, so he can start to mine once again after that's finished, but that was a big blow. You really want to get this gas going as quickly as possible here, and not having that up right now is a big pain in the butt. We've got 2 Ultras down here now in the bottom right. Unfortunate to lose the first Ultra as well. Carapace upgrade is done. Oh, we've got Gamete Mitosis as well. That Queen energy. That's a good trivia question. What's the name of the Queen upgrade for energy? That's a pretty insane name. I don't think I could remember that, but we've got that upgrade on the way. That'll mean that Queens will be popping out soon. You kind of want to start your Queens about just over halfway of this upgrade being done. You might have started that too early. If you finish the Queen before the upgrade is done, then you won't get the extra bonus energy as they finish. So that's not a good sign for Zelot. 5 Queens on the way. That's quite the commitment, but it's going to work out well here against his opponent, who's gone heavy into tank. A lot of tanks on the way here. A lot of vultures as well. The Ultras will do a fantastic job of holding off vultures. You can never get up this ramp if the Ultras are standing right here. Oh. Not if they're on hold position, I guess. Gonna get behind this mineral line. Maybe get a couple of kills here. That's a pretty sweet trade. Another base going up here in the top center, and likewise Taenggu gonna take his base in the center left. Still has a few Marines to kind of hold on against these mutas. Doesn't have any medics though, unfortunately, so that stim really does hurt, but for now he's gonna be safe here. And on 3 bases, he can power up very, very hard. Zelot is gonna have a difficult time kind of beating this Terran player in the long term. If he isn't able to get in here and shut down this 3rd base, looks like we've got a little bit of a lack of SCVs over here at the 3rd. He should transfer for some from the natural. Just kind of smooth out those resource mining, or that resource mining in these 2 locations. Would definitely help him to get more income here at this moment. Oh, getting some free tanks here. Some great play from Zelot to just get whatever value he can out of those few mutas he has left over. They're not going to be worth much in a little bit here, so might as well use them while he can. Some harassment over at the 12 o'clock. Let's see if there's any kills on these. You can definitely just shoot down the larva. Killing the larva is really good in these situations. Limiting the amount of larva that the Zerg player has is very, very powerful. That's a lot of queens. Okay. How many queens do we have here? More than 12. I would say 14. No, 13. No, 14. Yeah, 14 queens. Try to do math while you're casting, guys. It's not fun. Now, we do have Hydras starting to really pop out here. You don't really want to have Ultras when you're going against tanks. They're not very good at getting on top of them. And the queens are there to deal with the tanks anyway. Maybe you do want to go Ultras if you're going this many queens, because Ultra will clear up everything else. Of course, mines are very good against Ultras as well, so if there's a really big minefield, you definitely want to clear that first with Hydra before attacking in, or just go for a full-on Hydra, and it seems like that's what he wants to do. Kind of hilarious that we saw such a quick rush up to Ultraless Cavern here by Zelot, and only built like 3 Ultras overall, which is a little bit insane. Now, Taenggu heading down here towards the bottom right. He wants to shut down this new 5th base if possible, and he does force to cancel. Like, some Marines gonna come out here and deal with these 3 mutas that are being very pesky. Taenggu looking like he wants to snag the bottom center and possibly the bottom right as well. Bunch of queens coming out here. Oh, that's a great split on these queens, getting a ton of kills right now. A lot of these queens using up their energy, trading out for very expensive tanks right now. And this science facility is probably going to get a good radiate here, but there's not really much on the oh, that was a beautiful EMP hitting a ton of those queens, but I think those were the ones that spent their energy already, because this one's still got energy. These ones still have energy as well, so they're going to be able to come over and toss out a few more broodlings. And that may just be enough to give Zelot the advantage here when it comes to the fight. With Hydras on the ground. Ooh, almost loses that queen. It's almost time to just start throwing down broodlings on the Goliaths as well. You can definitely do that. It's pretty good value. Not as good as a tank, but still very good value. Just coming down from the high ground. Are going to be clearing out these mines now. Hydra's going to come from the top. No, it's not a pincer attack. He just wants to break this position with what he's got. Here comes the queens. 3 more broodlings do land. If you kill the queen before the broodling is cast, or while the broodling's being cast, but before it hits, it cancels the broodling. So trying to gun those down, but now Zelot really pushing through this tank army. Does have to back away though, as the tanks here in the back start to fire. Here comes another round of queens. 3 more broodlings. 4, 5, 6 more broodlings fire out, all in quick succession. 7 hits there. Zelot trading out a huge amount of energy for a fantastic amount of tanks there. Crazy good value for the Zerg player in a matchup that's really supposed to favor the Terran in terms of trading efficiency. Tanks and Goliaths, they do so well against Hydras in large number, but with the Queens gunning down all the tanks, the Hydras can fight the Goliaths on even footing, and with their overwhelming numbers, take them all down with relative ease. Taenggu, he's actually floating a command center out here to the middle. What a wild man. Trying to take this base as well. He's already on 4 bases. That's going to give him enough muscle. Maybe he needs more factories. Oh my god, he's only been on... Okay, he's got 5 factories. He's going to go to 6, 7. I almost feel like 8, 9 are going to be necessary here. Hydra's going to come up from this low ground. Trying to run up this ramp is not very fun, but there's only 1 tank here on the mineral line. He's going to get a D matrix for that, but D matrix does not stop the Broodling. Broodling chops right on through that ability, and that is absolutely insane value now. The D matrix is what, 100 energy? I think it's 100, right? So 100 energy plus a tank, and you kill that for 150 energy. That is so valuable, so valuable. And Zelot gonna come forward, kill another few tanks here. He's doing such a great job of keeping his queens active on the map, cycling through them, using them over and over to get more and more value. He's gonna come down here once again, hit off a few more tanks, try to push forward with Hydras onto this base most likely. There we go, getting some irradiates down, but irradiate, it doesn't stop the Broodling either. Gonna go ahead and throw down some parasites here. He has another Broodling in a moment. There we go. Just gonna kill that last tank. Very nicely done. Gonna keep on harassing this location. Taenggu has a lot of money, but his gas is not very high. He needs another SCV here on the 4th base to really start to exploit this newest location that he's picked up here. So far, he hasn't done it. There we go. We'll send those SCVs to work now and can start to pump up his supply once again. I almost feel like at this point, maybe a transition back into Marines might be a good idea, although you don't have the upgrades here as Taenggu, just because there's there's such a massive Queens. Building tanks over and over again, I can't see it being efficient. But what if you have all these Queens? That's a lot of supply. I think each of these are 2 supply. You've got all this supply in Queens, like at least 20, maybe 30 supply just worth of Queens. And then a massive bio ball comes out with a whole bunch of science vessels. What are you gonna do about that exactly? I guess you have to just quickly switch into Lurker and Ultra, but at this point, I think it's doable for Zelot, who has 2,000 gas in the bank. He's held that base in the top center. He's holding this base in the bottom left. He's got this base in the top left. Now he's taken the entire map at this point. So although Taenggu has done a good job of spreading himself out and getting his quadrant, Zelot has snagged a lot more than that. He's got the right side of the map. He's got the top left as well. This guy is looking to be so rich here in a moment with 52 workers. Of course, Taenggu is 66, but he's got a lot less mineral patches. He's only on 2 base mining right now and very oversaturated at this location. He's spreading himself out slowly. I like turrets here. If you build up enough turrets, Queens can't actually get their Broodlings off without dying, and some of them will die before the Broodling connects. That is assuming there's not, 100 Queens, but if there's just a few Queens running in at a time, It can actually hold here. Now, a lot of Hydras coming forward. Oh my god, that's so many queens. And EMP does fly in the middle of this, but the tanks are really late to siege up here. The reinforcement tanks finally sieging up are going to get picked off. The queens, all their energy being used here and just crushing through that army. Such a scary +3 army here, just wiped clean by the Hydralisk queen style. Really, really nicely done. Do we have more energy here for the queens? Looks like not, but it's enough already. We've got 3 tanks popping out, 3 Goliaths. It certainly doesn't feel very powerful anymore with that position outside being taken out. He can start to ransack these bases here. This is maybe difficult to get into, but this base here with only 1 tank and a bunker, not going to be able to hold on for long against this many Hydras. You can see how many are pouring across the map here. A 70 supply advantage. Zelot going to take it all the way home now, heading right up in towards the main. This is not the greatest trade, but queens should be coming. Where are the queens? Need to cast a few more broodlings. Nice D-Matrix, making these tanks look invincible here, but like I said before, queens is all it takes to break this location. A lot more Hydras coming across the map, so many in production here, even more queens in production as well. I don't think you need any more queens at this point, Zealot. That's so many. He's got every base on the map except for the center, and Taenggu loses this base on the center left. I think this is going to be it. With just 100 gas banked up, there's no way he can replenish that massive tank army. And even if he did, the queens are going to rain down broodlings on all of them. Here they come across the map right here, right now. Gonna go for these units, try to kill off these tanks here. It looks like a lone science vessel headed across the map. Doesn't have the energy for EMP though, and here we go. Queens once again gonna spill forward, picking off these tanks, getting rid of those units, making the task easy for Hydras to break here. Just gonna run right on up this ramp. Another couple of tanks do come up, a tank and a Goliath, but both of those units are susceptible to broodling. Just gonna cast 1 on the tank, just waiting for more tanks to arrive, and GG, Taenggu taps out. And Zealot is victorious. Wow. I gotta use that strategy sometime in my games, guys. I have such a hard time against mech in some of my matches recently on ladder. It's just been really, really tough to take on such a scary army in the late game. Once they get up to 3-4 bases, they have so much supply, so much firepower in those tanks as well. But the overwhelming number of queens seemed really, really strong there. And I like the transition. It seemed like a really sneaky move there to go for Ultra, and then the moment that his Terran opponent, you know, sensed the Ultra was coming, switching into tank, Zealot was on top of that. He said, I'm not even going to build Ultra. I researched all these upgrades, the carapace, the speed, everything, but screw it. I'm just going to switch all the way into Queen Hydra and only build 3 Ultras. That is a pretty cool move, and it worked out fantastic, guys. That is the end of this cast. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next one.